Cheerio, mate.
I like the tiki mug, bro.
Yeah, I changed it up. Went for a tiki drink this time.
Oh, I
It's
just
very.
used it because it's cool as shit. And then be specific, just got to be useful.
Are you ready for your trip?
Yeah, I am. I'm just bummed that I had to drop off my pups.
Well, yeah. It's always sad when you gotta leave the little ones.
Yeah, yeah. If they were human, they would go with us, and it'd be a whole other adventure. If it was my way, we'd go to nature, and they definitely would come with us. But
Right.
the mouse in his fluffy white gloves and his black ears doesn't like that stuff.
All right. That's a great opening.
Thanks, mouse.
You ready to start the show?
Yeah, let's pay this mouse.
All right. Buenos dias, bambinos, and welcome to episode 21 of the Geekoid podcast. Where,
Oh, it's now legal age.
yeah, so cheers to that.
Think.
This seems like the longest week ever. This past week,
We said that about last week, and I think we said it about the week prior. So I don't know what is going on with work and everything else, but it is a it's a dragon.
yeah. I mean, it's thing. It's just this past the past 48 hours have been absolutely insane in terms of everything that has been announced and that has come out. Like we had Summer Games Fest, the PC Gaming Show, the Xbox Summer Showcase, and between those three, there were
Which one was
probably
Jeff Keighley's was which one?
that was the Summer
Summer.
Games Fest.
And then IGN's doing their own, which like producers from Last of Us and whatever are like showing up.
Yeah, like there's probably a few hundred new games and trailers that dropped. Like I have not been able to consume all of it, so we're gonna touch on
Along with, which only happens every decade, a new console launch or
yeah,
a new console launch.
yeah, and then also all the
Jesus.
updates that are coming to Unreal Engine, which I'll touch on that because I'm super geeked about what they've got coming,
Yeah.
what they've already released in the last week.
I saw one Unreal and it was Unreal.
Yeah. Where do we want to start?
I couldn't even keep up, honestly. There were so many titles that got announced. There were so many titles that were getting upgrades. There were so many titles that were getting badass DLCs. I I am, and then just our own experience of both of us getting the Switch 2 and just trying to play around with it. I have no idea.
Well, maybe we start with that, the Switch 2, because that's near and dear to our hearts, and we
It is very much.
got to play Friday night.
Katie got to play for 30 minutes, and she got first place in all three races. And I was like, oh my God, we're totally playing together when we're on the airplane.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a blast. I thought it was really well polished. Just the entire UI for the Switch 2, it felt like a cross between like Microsoft and Apple. Like
Well,
it was.
And I like sorry, not to interrupt. I'm so sorry. I love to hear your side because this is all new for you. Like Nintendo was you when you were a kid, but you swerved way left, and I did for a heartbeat. But getting older, I'm coming back around. I don't have as much time. and I want more stuff that now I can share with my wife, and then sooner or later for you, like your kid. And so you talk about the UI. This is not a new UI, but it is extremely upgraded. Um, and then that's all I'm gonna say. So continue, because that's already positive.
Yeah, so I mean, it was like very clean and delightful, and like all the sounds, all the interactions were crisp and just felt really polished. But the one thing that I found different from other consoles, and my experience is mostly with the PlayStation 5, like the PlayStation 5 is like in your face visuals, everything is over the top. It's like
Mhm.
there to grab you. And then when I fired up the Switch 2, like I didn't have a previous Switch that I imported stuff from. So like I open it up and it's like just a white screen with little icons at the bottom. Like it was very bland.
Which
I
is,
was like
yeah, and you
a
don't
little
have
too
any.
bland.
You almost have one game, and that's it, right?
I didn't even have one game because it was before I added Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, all
It's
right,
like there's
yeah.
just literally nothing, and I'm like, okay.
When I started, the first thing I thought was, oh, a white canvas. This is a blank slate for me to start filling, which I did. I did kind of quickly.
So yeah, I felt like they could have done a better job for new users, but at the end of the day, it's really not a huge detraction.
I think
Um,
they separate between that and the eShop. And so then it goes back to your collection. One thing I did do differently this time around, because I did um, pay more into Nintendo Switch Online, and then later I will pay more into Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass. Um, I did separate those. So now I have a grid system. So now it's these are my games, and then more these are the online retro titles. So you can for free Nintendo Switch Online, you can get like Game Boy, you can get Super Nintendo. But when you get into like GBA, which is more what I want to do, or I think GameCube, which got, announced and released, those require a few more dollars. And by the way, a few more dollars is only $4 a month, or like it was like 12 to $26 a year. It was very affordable. And then I think it's only like a dollar or two more. And I went, wow, this is very affordable. Thank you
I was
so
surprised because they're
much.
nickel and diming you for everything else.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want the intro experience tour? Like $10, please. Which
And it
I
was
found
great.
absolutely ridiculous.
And going to some of those like Nintendo Switch Onlines. So I have Delta on my iPhone. If anybody looks into it, I'm not going to go into details for whatever reasons, but go look online, go on Safari, go Google, whatever, and look up Delta emulator and those kinds of things. I have those on my giant iPhone, and it's the same screen size as a GBA, which is 3 inches diagonal, 3.3, I think. And it runs beautifully. But to see a green old school GB game, and even at a 4:3 ratio, be like 7 inches, I laughed so hard and I loved it so much.
Oh yeah, man, I remember the original Game Boy playing that to death. I might still have mine somewhere.
That is great. And I'm kind of jealous. I'm not gonna
I
lie,
doubt it
like
works, but you know.
I would love a GBA and to start getting some of the physical copies. And then just that satisfying click into the back and playing something. Or you're on a road trip and you're not gonna bring like 10 of these 3 inch by 4 inch, squares. Uh and so you're only gonna play the three. And there's something to that where I think that's very special. However, knowing that like I can play all the GB games that I've already been playing through Delta on this gigantic 8-inch screen, plus Luigi Mansion 3, plus this new Mario Kart world and all the other newer games. It is the neatest system of like just take it and go. And not to, not only, like I said, we're going to be in the airplane and I can play two-player. I can play with Katie and take those Joy-Cons off like you could on the old one, but now they're bigger. The buttons are a lot more substantial.
That is really cool.
It's fucking neat, man. I'm really, really jazzed.
Yeah, I'm excited to get Rachel to play. I'm excited to get Split Fiction and give that a try.
It looks really good, dude. It looks so good. And I think for this, people have been saying that this console is iterative. I don't think it's iterative. If you look at all the tech specs, this is a double amount of everything that was in the old one, from processor, CPU, GPU, all this stuff. It's all a double amount of it. This is a new console. You look at PlayStation 2 to 3, that was HDR, 3 to 4, that was 4K, 4 to 5, VRR and ray tracing. Nintendo's always done something crazy with each console. This is their first time that 20 years later, they're more in line with like what other people have done. Like, we have something good. Make what you have good better. And the
Yeah,
Switch
they're
2
doubling
is,
down on their formula. They
yeah,
found success. They're going with it. They're like, we don't need to get crazy at this point,
and,
and
and
it's smart.
gamble.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm so excited. And so many, they're already, even during this week, I did see that so many third-party developers are already working hard to do free upgrade packs to upgrade the old games to now 4K 60, 4K 120, or 1080 120. It's like they hit the gold mine. They did exactly what they should, exactly what you'd hope for. Again, going from PlayStation 2 to 3 to 4, Xbox, and so on and so forth. This is great. I'm really excited to see what's happening now and what's going to happen in the next few years.
yeah. So I really enjoyed the experience. So when I was playing Mario Kart with you, I was sitting outside. My kid was playing on the water table. Like, that's an experience I haven't really ever had before. Like, because I'm usually either glued to the computer or glued to the
That's a
PlayStation. Like, just
that's a
sitting
great
outside,
example.
just
And
having a blast.
we played around with the game chat. At,
Yeah.
game chat's always been a funny whatever thing, but now to have it, both of us were outside playing in the game chat. The speakers, the microphone worked really well, to the point that even I had an AC unit. Well, even right now, I have an AC unit that's 7, 8 feet away from me. You guys didn't hear it, to the point that you and Rachel both said, wow, he sounds really good. So also their noise canceling, that whatever they're using, is doing a really good job
Yeah.
on a handheld that you can go outside to, on your couch or whatever. I'm really happy about it.
So I do want to segue, and I think I have a really great segue. So we were enjoying Mario Kart, but over the weekend at the Summer Games Fest, Sega took a shot at Mario Kart during their unveiling of the Sonic racing game, which is incorporating IP from all across the board and allowing for crossplay across platforms.
That's very exciting. And I am super happy that they're doing it, because I love a lot of their old IP and I really want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I had never been interested really in a Sonic racing game before, and this one I'm like, okay.
Like,
I
what are
can get on
some of
board.
the, to remind some of the people, like, what is some of the IP that Capcom has to be able to put into a Sonic racing
No,
game?
it's not just Sega or Capcom. They're going out, like they're doing a partnership with Minecraft.
Get out of here. So
Yeah,
with Microsoft themselves,
yeah. Like they were showing off some of the stuff. Like you literally go racing, and then you go through a portal, and then you're like in Minecraft block world, and you're racing through like a Minecraft world.
that's exciting.
Yeah, like
That's so exciting.
it's pretty awesome what they came up with. So I think there's all sorts of potential with that, and they really outdid themselves, I think.
Wow. I really truly believe that, it's like Apple. Apple throws something out there and it's almost the benchmark where they go, yeah, that was really good. That was pretty good. Everybody, double down. And then it brings the next technology or innovation or whatever up. And I really believe the Switch 2 and the Switch 1, but the Switch 2 now, everybody's like, okay, what can we do? I mean, CD Projekt Red, they didn't have to do the effort they did. And the effort they did was, we want to make this game playable good on the Switch 2. And Switch 2 is in this weird mix of like a Series S level Xbox and a PlayStation 4, but with DLSS, VRR, and ray tracing. They built Cyberpunk 2077 from the ground up to be able to be played on the Switch 2. And CD Projekt Red also put all of that game on a cartridge, which is a whole other story. But no game keycard, partner. That is all on one little cool red cartridge.
Yeah,
Impressive. Is it great? No. If you play on PC, it'll be great. You play on like PlayStation 5 Pro, it'll be great. Is it really good though? And does it play? And do you still get that same feeling sitting in your backyard or on an airplane?
yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, Cyberpunk is a great game not because of the incredible graphics, which it has, but the gameplay itself is so solid, and it's a great story, and it's just CD Projekt Red does a phenomenal job making games. They take their
And
time and they deliver.
and they took even extra time to do this. It's really impressive. I've now in my this age in my life and career, professional career, like I don't know if I have time to play a game like that. However, I think I'm going to buy it, and I think I'm going to buy the physical cartridge too, which I've also not. I've always been a digital kind of guy. Steam has definitely swerved me for all those years, but I think this is going to be one of those games that, like, I almost like just to be able to have and be like, yeah, this is a moment in history, and I'm going to buy it.
I think you would love the shit out of that game. It's a blast. It's humorous, it's action packed, it tugs at your heartstrings at moments, and just the story's really cool. And I know last week I said that Cyberpunk 2, they're just going to build it on the same engine. I would like to retract that statement after everything I saw during the Unreal Fest.
Oh yeah, and that is.
So they opened the keynote showing off footage from The Witcher
Oh, the
4.
yes. And oh my God, the pine trees alone like blew me away. I was like, oh, am I back in Colorado? This is nuts. That's the video I watched.
Yeah, oh my god, they just pulled out all the stops. So the tech demo for The Witcher 4 was mind blowing for a number of reasons. I'm gonna get to the foliage in a minute, but like they had like
The crowds, like, sorry, like it was nuts. And they showed it. I mean, they had it all parsed out to do this amazing teach where they showed, oh, there's two people. Now there's 50. Sorry. It was great.
yeah, I mean just showing crowds They had this really cool tech where they were doing dynamic motion matching between two characters, which is something that I hadn't really seen before. Which so it like, oh, you want to mount your horse? Doesn't matter what angle you come from, it'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So on top of that, they also had things like a machine learning deformer for the way the musculature of the horse would act. Like this is stuff that is really only ever seen in big
Movies.
budget movies,
Yeah.
and now it's being baked into Unreal Engine. So like, holy crap, that was amazing.
I loved
Also,
I don't know how they did it too, but do you remember like she was kind of running, not running, but she was walking fast and she bumped somebody who dropped a bunch of apples, and then it goes back and some of those people picked up the apples and ran off, and how that can alter the story by just a natural thing that you would probably do in Assassin's Creed or something. You would bump into somebody and then keep going to wherever your target is. But they added an element that could be so like natural in a video game, I guess. Like we just bump into people all the time, which never happens ever. You do that in New York and see what happens. And the somehow the program can also do that in real time. It blows my fucking brain.
yeah, so that'll be difficult to figure out how to tie that back into the greater storyline because you can't. At the end of the day, it's still humans creating the narrative, and you can't have stuff branching too much. Otherwise, you end up with a situation like we saw in Loki season 2, where the timeline branches and stuff goes crazy and explodes. Um, but let me just touch on a few other things from the Unreal keynote. So they're incorporating MetaHuman, which is like their human builder, if you will, like the way you create digital humans with an Unreal Engine. Like it's now fully incorporated into the Unreal Engine, and they've added a whole bunch of tools to make it easier. And it just, the ability with which you can just create content in Unreal is just,
And
it's
then
getting,
populate it.
yeah,
Just
getting
populate it.
faster and easier. It's really really mind blowing.
During
Um,
the video they or the event, they were showing like if there was a stage performance going on and there were like a few people, and then they were like, but what if? And then all of a sudden they just populated with like 20 more people, and they were all acting individually from themselves as they were watching jugglers and whatever performing. It
yeah.
was crazy.
So one of the two more points I want to cover. One is uh, nanite foliage. So nanite is the engine or the part of the engine that allows you to populate the world with really high res, like high poly count models, and like as an artist, you don't have to worry about optimization. Like the engine will just handle it for you and deliver the appropriate level of detail at runtime, which was a huge boon when Unreal 5 was first announced. They've now taken this to the next level with like trees and plants to the point where I
Ancient
didn't,
pine needle
yeah. So
was a pine needle.
let me talk a little bit about how traditional game development worked pre this version of Unreal. So typically you would have a flat 2D plane that would have an image of a leaf or a branch or a series of leaves, and you would have multiple versions of that depending on the distance that you were from the tree, and it would hot swap that out. That's what we call LOD, or level of detail. So you'd have 3 or 4 different iterations depending on how far away you are. So what they're doing now is they're saying, you know what? You can model the entire tree down to the pine needle, and we will dynamically generate a voxel representation of the tree that is effectively matches 1-for-1 pixel density at runtime. Like it just, the tech is so impressive, and to think now that artists have that level of control, but also not just artists having the level of control, but allowing entire forests to be generated from just uh, like a seed number. Like a lot, like no artist is going to model every single tree in a forest. That's just absolutely insane. So what they do is they have, hey, we have different types of trees. We know what kind of bark they have. We know what kind of branches, pine needles, leaves, all this stuff. So we can randomly generate a effectively infinite number of unique individual trees and populate the forest with that. And then afterwards an artist can come in and tweak stuff if they want, but it's just holy moly, this is
Yeah, they were talking how they were like, if you don't like that tree there, you can move then that entire tree somewhere else. So like I think the scene was she was on like a small peninsula or island or whatever, and she being the girl from
Siri.
Gwent or Siri. I said Gwent, which that's another thing I want to talk about. But from Witcher, and you can move those around. What I loved was what you were saying. When you're up close, you see each needle, and as the wind was blowing, each tree branch was moving, and the needle little puffs were also moving. But
Yeah.
field of view has always been hard. Minecraft is actually a great example of you can see 4 miles, but it's either not there at all. And then as you get close, it populates with the new stuff. That's the engine running within the realms that it can. Here, you can see 4 miles and you can tell it's a pine tree, but the pixel and the voxel count is knows what it's supposed to be, but it's reduced it down so it makes the processor a lot easier to manage. And then as you get close, without you even knowing from your own eyes, it's becoming more detailed without any skipping or jumping or any hesitation. It was crazy great.
Yeah. It just it is I'm so excited for this next generation of games coming from Unreal Engine. And we're at that point in the console cycle where like the original slate of launch titles for the PS5 and the Xbox Series, whatever,
Mhm.
um, like they were middling, I guess you could say, and now we've had some really standout achievements. Like Cyberpunk was phenomenal on both those consoles, and
I
now
think
like
it always takes like 2 years, I think, for them to
no, it's
figure
like
out
5 years. I mean, you think about the GTA 6, they're really pushing the envelope of what the hardware is capable of. And now Unreal is just going to continue to do that into probably the next generation of consoles whenever those decide to come out. Let me just move quickly through two more points. So Unreal announced that the new Unreal editor for Fortnite, which is Fortnite being one of their biggest properties. Uh,
Sure.
they're now incorporating. Well, they've had Lego incorporated, but now the entire like a lot of the Disney properties are now coming to Fortnite, like Star Wars, Alien as well, and I can't remember what else, but like I think Avatar as well.
Alien on Fortnite. That is
Yeah.
kind of like creepy, weird,
So
cool.
so here's the thing, like it basically unlocks a whole lot of possibilities for creators to just say, "Hey, I want to build something in the Star Wars or the Alien universe and put it on Fortnite." And you can do that now. Like you're given the assets, you can just build away. So I'm really excited to see the way people customize kind of like these new experiences using established IP.
It's
And then
very interesting to me to think that like I looked at Fortnite as a kiddie game, though it had a kiddie, and I guess I should backtrack on that and say like it had a kiddie aesthetic and a kiddie look, but it was still a pretty robust battle royale. And now I think like Hearthstone, it's come from very simple roots, or even Minecraft, it's come from very simple roots, and it has expanded into something that is way more, I think, advanced and complicated and I kind of now like want to check out Fortnite just the same as I want to go back to Minecraft. There's a whole new level of the last 10 years that has accelerated these games that have kind of tested the time and time again and not fell. They keep climbing up to new echelons, and I'm like, oh, I probably need to like now check this out. This is some next level stuff.
So let me throw some stats at you. So the Unreal Editor for Fortnite was launched just over 2 years ago. Players have spent over 11 billion hours
Holy shit.
across 260,000 creator made islands,
Wow.
which has resulted in $722 million paid out to third party creators.
Whoa, really? That's a lot of dough, man.
Yeah, it's kind of staggering. I did not realize how big the Fortnite ecosystem was. So that maybe is something I should look into and
Yeah,
start playing around with
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
All right, the final thing I want to touch on from I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things, but the one that I just kind of want to toot my own horn at because I feel like I manifested this into being was so last week I said one of my predictions was that hey, there might be an AI assistant capability that they will be unleashing. Turns out, yeah, there is now an AI powered developer assistant that you can use in Unreal Engine to help you build. And it kind of works exactly how I imagined. So you just kind of type in what you're thinking, and it will generate the code to help you achieve what it is you're trying to achieve.
That's
So
nuts.
it's basically a code assistant for specific to Unreal Engine. So I'm super jazzed about that. I'm sure Unity will have something similar soon
Sure,
as well.
sure.
But yeah, I mean, it was just a whole lot of awesome announcements from Unreal Editor. And I will say, Tim Sweeney took the stage at the very end to talk about AI, and he shares a lot of my opinions when it comes to AI. That it's really going to unlock the creative potential for a lot of people and accelerate development and make things easier for people to bring their ideas to life.
A lot faster. Yeah.
Yeah, and so stay tuned. It's only gonna get more crazy.
Yeah, and I love the ideas too. They were showing it, side note during The Witcher, where you say the trees again. You can generate, but then you can tweak those plants that are on the ground to the trees to whatever. You can place them then. You have the idea. It generates it for you. You go, yeah, that's it. But I don't want it there. And so I love that idea. Uh it goes back to that kind of Tony Stark and Jarvis of like he has an idea, it's there, and he goes, "Yes, but okay, now that I actually see this in real life, now I see the tweaks that I need to make," and then being able to do that himself or herself, or then tell the AI like, "No, I like the shoulder pads, but um, this needs to
Bring him
be
in
tweaked."
2 centimeters.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I love that combo where the creator is still a creator using then this new advanced thing that's coming around.
Yeah. Let's jump back to the Summer Games Fest. I just wanted to have a little editorial note around all the content that was shown. It seems like the gaming universe and the internet is just really obsessed with Elden Ring, Dark Souls, that
Types.
kind of
Yep.
game. Like
Yep.
there
Yep.
was
Yep.
so much stuff announced and shown
So
off.
much, dude.
I
One boss that you got to fight for 30 minutes and figure out that right combo. It's like, oh, I can't do Tekken or Soul Calibur anymore with anybody. And this is like maybe their jazz to doing that. It was really like, God damn, everybody's like, this is what we got to do, and everybody did it.
Yeah, I mean it's not my cup of tea. I haven't played any of those games, and I'm really maybe I'm missing out on something. Like maybe I should pick
Yeah,
one up
maybe.
and try
Yeah,
it.
same. Like I know Elden Scroll or Elden Ring it was for even people who don't like that Dark Souls esque. That was the game that I think changed a lot of people's minds. So maybe you and I need to do Elden and find out why this is so cool.
Yeah,
There is an interesting thing within that is a second part that I kind of made fun of, and there is a unusual community. It's like a ghostly souls like souls like community. So as you're going through the game, people can leave hints and warnings and stuff. So like even though you don't see them, they're a part of the world, and a lot of people do like that. And I also think that's a type of game I've never played where you can leave a marker for somebody else. Like,
yeah,
wish we would have done that in Journey. Like, you see all these people who are also going through this adventure for a moment with you. But if they could leave things that you then go, oh, there's a big boss and you should probably be at level, like whatever. Or, hey, swerve left every time he does this. Like, I think that's another factor that makes those games, and especially Elden Ring, like much more unique and different from anything I've ever played in my entire life.
yeah. Anything else we want to highlight from Summer Game Fest? I mean, there's probably a whole bunch of stuff that we'll talk about as part of the Xbox showcase as well, because there's a little bit of crossover.
Yeah, the only thing from Xbox was the Rogue, um, which I didn't get a whole lot of detail on. I
No,
saw it.
yeah, we can just jump right into it. So
Yeah.
at the Xbox showcase, they announced the ROG Xbox Ally. So we had a month ago said, "Oh, there might be an Xbox ROG Ally coming," and then we're like, "No, there isn't." And then now apparently there is.
Well, I don't know if they're doing their first party. I think they're still like in line with their third party with Rogue. I don't or ROG, Republica Gamers, motherfuckers. Like that's what I remember as.
Well, I mean,
Or
it is an official Xbox branded, but
it is.
it's like a partnership. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yep.
Yeah. So we don't have a release date or a price, but I mean, it looks like just an ROG Ally with an Xbox button.
So hopefully there's more than that as far as like at least software, hardware, no. Like they're going towards them for the hardware side.
Yeah,
So hopefully we see something that's unique and special as far as the software side for Microsoft and Xbox. Uh, but yeah, it looks like if you looked at the Steam Deck is a big, thick, chunky boy. And this kind of, and if you looked at PlayStation 5's handheld version, where you have to use the console to play away from it, which is nice. The controller side to the screen is kind of this screen and divide of controller. The ROG kind of threads this needle between the Steam Deck and the PlayStation handheld. Um, yeah, well, I think it's Microsoft experimenting, honestly. Like we've lost money, we're doing really good on the subscription side, but we see there's numbers. The numbers are going towards, Nintendo making the Switch and the Switch 2, and then the Steam Deck is doing really well overall. So, and then PlayStation has their own kind of semi version of like you can't go very far away from your console, but you can still play like on a couch and still have your wife or whoever else watching TV.
Yeah.
I think this is a smart and safe move for them to see how this goes. And if it does well, then they make their own first party that we've heard strong rumors about.
Yeah. Um, a few other things that dropped at the Xbox showcase. So Ninja Gaiden 4, exciting.
Just fucking pretty.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade.
Oh, I didn't
So,
see this one. What's this?
well, this is the latest Final Fantasy that has that came out
Yeah.
for PC and for PlayStation, but it's coming to Xbox now, which is interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So just
Go
play.
go Sony.
Yeah. Um, Super Meat Boy 3D, which caught me off guard. Like Super Meat Boy is like just a
One of
great
the
platformer.
hardest, yeah, one of the hardest, greatest 2D platformers that came out in the last 10 years.
So that's pretty exciting. God, I guess I have to say this. The next Call of Duty will be Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
My God, has it been that long?
I thought we had 3 last year or something. Apparently,
Yeah, yeah.
just like
But they have what, three teams, and so each team makes their own. So I can't keep up.
yeah, no, it's a little silly. But give the people what they want, and apparently they want Black Ops. There's a bunch of other like dozens of games announced.
Capcom,
What about Capcom?
Resident
Oh,
Evil,
oh yeah, yeah. Resident Evil,
two
uh,
Resident Evil. No, was it two? It was no. Sorry, I'm thinking also. It was
Silent Hill
Requiem,
F.
Silent Hill F.
The Japanese and their weird naming schematics, like it just does not translate here in the States, I gotta say.
But
So,
both are the Resident Evil or the Silent Hill is creepy, like movie level creepy to the point that I don't think I'm gonna play it.
oh yeah, I
It
mean that's one of those games that will
kind
just
of
freak
scares
me the
the shit out of. Yep,
yep.
yep. But Requiem, I am. I haven't been this intrigued and this because they're going back to Raccoon City, but how and why? I'm. This is the most I've been excited since like Resident Evil 4. Really, I love that game.
All right. I'm gonna take a segue to something near and dear to my heart because we're talking about creepy stuff, scary stuff. I don't know if you saw it, but there was finally a trailer that dropped
Oh yeah,
for Alien Earth.
there's been three. It
Well,
showed
there were
monsters.
teasers, but this is the first trailer showing actual footage.
I think they
And
showed three actually, but it was like IGN had some on their website alone, and then FX did,
okay, maybe,
and then another company did.
but either
Uh,
way,
Either way,
holy moly, I am just so jazzed for this show.
what I pooped my pants about was it's not just one alien. There are four other types of predatory monsters,
Yeah,
aliens that aren't aliens, xenomorph aliens. And I went, how does the world couldn't survive off one, and you're gonna add four other types of aliens that aren't xenomorphs?
yeah.
Uh,
We'll see.
how long does this season last?
Oh man, I'm so pumped.
And also, I'm not even joking. This probably should have been a movie because you could keep this going for seasons and seasons and you just drag it on. This should probably legit be three movies and a three-movie arc.
I, I too soon to tell. I'm excited for it. I guess also in the Alien theme, Fede Alvarez, it sounds like they've begun work on the sequel to Alien Romulus.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It did really well, man.
yeah, I
It's a
I freaking
it's
loved
a
it.
new generation. It's a new audience. It's a new style. It's way more horror, which has always been they've skirted that line for years. It's been like a very like sci-fi, not thriller, but sci-fi horror, which has always
Well, I mean,
lessened it.
you go through different evolutions. Like when James Cameron did Aliens, it was a little bit more action heavy, not as horror esque as the original Alien. Um, Alien 3, kind of a bit
Uh,
back to the horror, but it
but then
just
you get the Prometheus and Prometheus 2, which was whatever that was called. That gets a
Alien
little bit
Covenant.
more, that was a little bit more almost thriller horror, like like creepy out in fucking left hemisphere type shit. Requiem is going back, but going, we can scare the shit out of you.
You mean Romulus?
Romulus.
Because
Requiem is Resident Evil.
well, there is AVP Requiem, which is the second Alien versus Predator movie, which was just
It was a cheese fest. It was like
it was
if Arnold
abhorrent.
Schwarzenegger, yeah, and Sylvester Stallone, stepped in, you'd be like, oh, yep.
Yeah, so very
I
excited.
still, I still like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, Prey 2 is either filming or is wrapped, and then Killer of Killers, which is an animated Predator movie, dropped this past week. I have not had a chance to check it out yet, but I've heard very, very good things.
Yeah, they go World War II, Japan. They they pick interesting situations of either war and battle, or battle would be a lot of it, but war or like what we remember in history of like great warriors, which would be along the lines of what predators would also be searching.
So,
And Badlands. Oh my God. I I think you're on the alien side, I'm on the predator side. I am so jazzed for all the predator stuff. So extremely jazzed for that.
yeah, so an interesting fun fact: Killer of Killers was actually made using Unreal Engine, and so
No,
yeah,
an animated TV series?
well, it's a
Really?
movie. It's a movie. Um,
Oh, it's one part. It's not several parts.
correct.
Okay.
So they actually during the keynote they showed some of the development process, and then they showed this incredible fight scene that was a single take, if you will, in the same way that John Wick has kind of done a lot of that, where it's the camera it just stays focused on one character, and it's like a minute and a half fighting, just decapitating and just bludgeoning and blood everywhere. It was really
Oh,
really
I
cool.
have to watch that. I totally missed that because I was focused on the video games, and also hearing that Unreal can do. You think Unreal and you think video games, but listen, like the the line is blurring between movies, video games, and cartoons.
Well,
Yes, the
okay, well,
software.
let's just take a pause and just look at all the different ways that Unreal is being leveraged today. Like they're using it for architectural visualizations. They're using it for medical imaging visualizations. They're using it
Oh,
for
yeah.
like I think they use it in Ford or Lincoln like as the dashboard UI. Like is designed and using Unreal Engine. Like it is a lot more than
Oh,
just games, and it's used
wow.
for broadcast media. Like obviously made like it was a huge part of the Mandalorian, but live sports and stuff like that. Like it is the foundation of a lot of the motion graphics that are being used in a lot of shows.
I wonder if then Disney and ILM are using them because honestly, like
Well,
Lion
the
King was,
Mandalorian, they clearly are.
yeah, but like even like live action Lion King. is it's still a cartoon. It's just now
Well, that's a
a
level of
realistic
sophistication that
CG.
is above Unreal Engine, I would say. Like that's you're going back to the old school big CG houses, if you will. Your DreamWorks, your Pixar's, and all that. Like the people, like very sophisticated. Like Unreal Engine, as good as it is, cannot handle that level of fidelity.
Okay. But that's still neat. I did not
Yeah.
know that Unreal helped create a cartoon like the new Predator
Oh yeah.
movie. That's cool. That's great. That's so neat, man.
So, one more thing that Unreal helped create. Do you remember the Amazon, the anthology of all the different game? Uh,
Level up.
yeah. So there is one in there that is it was done by Blur Studios. It was literally Unreal Tournament, and it was the machines that kept going and fighting against each other. That was all done also in Unreal Engine.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I now want to go back and watch it again, but that one specifically.
it's and they're like we they made it in like 3 days or something
Oh,
insane.
really?
Yeah, they're
It's
like
really
it's incredible. All right, we're getting to 50 minutes, and I need to cook dinner. Um, Anything else we want to call out? I mean, I feel like we just glossed over. Like, there's just so much stuff, and maybe we need to do another recap, or I need to make another poster.
well, I just if anybody hasn't seen from uh Capcom or IGN or whatever, but the Resident Evil Requiem trailers that I've seen, some have been a minute, some have been 2.5 minutes. They are they're some of the most spectacular things I've seen. They're just I I liked the directions they were going to showcase some of the new engine and some of the new ideas they had for their other games, Village and uh Seven. Whatever they're thinking for this new game, which they also tease as like something new and something old, and then they just blurred it and they did these like snapshots at the very end. This might be like penultimate game for them. And I think penultimate if you're also like Raccoon City going back to
Oh yeah,
that style of Resident Evil. But the other two games have been like crazy. They're so good. It's still creepy and zombies and not worldly, type shit. This game looks like a whole new evolution, a revolution.
yeah.
And so
I just want to make an observation that of everything that was announced at the Xbox showcase, Summer Games Fest, the PC gaming showcase, like, and then I think Sony also had an event maybe
they
too.
did. They had a state of play for new,
Which I haven't watched yet.
like
I
Acrobot or whatever, Astrobot.
yeah,
I'm not a Nintendo or I'm not a PlayStation guy, so Astrobot's got new stuff that like blew people's brains.
yeah. It's there is so much dropping, and I it's amazing. I feel like we're going through a bit of a renaissance, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to get ultra competitive, and it's going to be difficult for a lot of these devs because a lot of them are indie devs to rise above the chatter and
I think
become
this
identified.
this is where because everybody has said the where the indie market has been flooding the last 8 years is the console that I'm literally holding in my hand outside in my backyard. they shined on this console, and that is the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo console. So I think that's going to shine there. However, I've never seen such a fervor of so much content in the last, I mean, 5 for sure, but I've never seen a fervor of content in probably even 10 years within this lump of everybody just like announced a bunch of stuff and they went pop, 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 pop from Monday to Saturday.
It wasn't Monday.
How
It
long?
was literally Friday to Sunday.
It was nuts, man. It was crazy. And I don't think even, I'm going to say this, I think we're still waiting on a lot of things. Wolverine, Marathon, and other games that were announced 5 years ago. I don't think they talked about some of those games that were talked about 5 years ago, which is sad. But I will say, all of you announced so much that I think the next 5 years, from now to 5 years, we are going to get a flood of games that reviewers like, I don't know if I would say us, but big time journalists, reviewers are going to be overwhelmed. And it's about fucking time.
I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't watched all the keynotes and all the announcements because it's what 8 hours worth of content. It's insane.
It'd
Like
probably be more than that.
the
Yeah,
Summer
it'd
Gaming
probably be
Fest
8 hours.
was 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
and IGN's doing things that, like, also those PR people and marketing people were saving for IGN. Like,
why is this
it's
weekend so busy? Like,
yeah. Right before I go to, I just decided 4 months ago to go to Florida to go see Epic Universe and buy a Switch 2. And then they're like, "Hey, by the way, oh, Switch 2's coming out."
would it
Not
make
like,
sense to have these events just spread out like that
no.
way?
I think it's perfect PR. Perfect. I think it's great. And they all knew it because also, again, going back to IGN, I'm seeing things from the Xbox and then they give more details during IGN or PlayStation and more and so on and so forth. The things they did with Jeff and then trickling it down like no. And they were like, also, Nintendo just announced this. After 8 years of that console doing such a great job and that company doing such a great job, uh, no, we need to take a little fucking, hey, remember us? But also, they're like, that could come to this new console because now it can take third parties way better than the last one did.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap? We're gonna skip the rumor mill and the indie showcase this week just because it's been shit's been too crazy.
Yeah. We can't talk even about WWDC, any of the OS 26s,
Next week's gonna be crazy too.
Lake Tahoe, uh, the new things that they might be adding visually, but also like how they're going to change all of the OSs across the board to be more unified. And it's already been pretty unified. No,
And yeah. So the one thing I will say about WWDC happening next week, which is Apple's developer conference, it sounds like AI is going to be just missing.
I don't think so. I think what I've heard is they're going to fine tune what they do have, integrate everything, and the rest of it will go to Gemini. It'll go to Google, and it will be a staple of all the OSs. However, they are going to add some new things that we unfortunately thought were going to happen a year ago. Last thing I'm going to say is board games, Gwent, which was a very good, if you did play it on iPad or iPhone, it was better on the iPad. Gwent was and probably still is. I haven't played it in a while. Gwent is the digital version of Witcher's, especially Witcher 3's card game. Great game. And if you play it on the iPad, I think you can literally turn it vertical, put it on the table, and it is the board on this person's side for cards and gems and coins, and on the other side. Very similar to like if you thought of chess, but with cards. They're finally us in the board game nerd sphere was like, just make the game. And on IGN, a promoter showed off your normal $40-$50 version and a like $250 version with wood, and the board is all wood and then it magnetizes together with all these great cards. And they're not going to do a TCG, they're going to do a uh oh shit, what's the version of that? That it's
CCG?
No, it's a different version of like getting that feeling of a TCG, but it's in the box. Everything's in there, but you can build and craft till your heart crumbles. I can't remember what to call that. So you'll have, I think it's 5 decks, but there's technically 6. And you can craft, it's a deck building game, which I love deck building. It's one of my favorite mechanisms ever for any board game. And you can play, not only the classic is 1v1, sitting at a bar, is the theme. Uh, but they've added a mechanism for solo play. They've added
Hmm.
a mechanism where you can even play 3, 4, and 5 player. The classic is still, and the core mechanism is a 1v1. You on one side of the table, me on the other, and we play our cards like we would in Witcher, but they've added other stuff. I don't know if it will play with my group. However, it's hard. There are a lot of board games that get the video game IP, but a lot of it I feel like can be pasted on. There is a Witcher 3 board game that was kickstarted,
Oh yeah.
and it looks great. I just saw it last night. My friends have all the boxes and all the expansions and all the upgrades and all the miniatures, and it fills up a whole 2 feet by 2 feet. I mean, it's like a shit ton of plastic and content. However, I think this game was unique when I played it in the game in Witcher. It was unique when I played it in iOS, and to finally see a true form 2-player version of it, I'm gonna buy it. I don't think anybody's gonna play it, but it's definitely gonna be, and I'm saying it right now, it's gonna be one of those that it probably stays in shrink, but I'm gonna be very happy and proud as a board gamer and a video gamer that it's in my collection.
Is it out?
Yeah, I think you can go to, and I'm sorry, I don't know who develops it. I have to go. Hey,
I mean,
anybody?
if you bring it in a couple weeks, I will absolutely play it with you because I'm a Witcher junkie.
It's Yeah, and it's a very different game. You're playing off 3 levels. Your top 3 cards, your middle 3 cards, and your bottom 3 cards. Yeah, if I bring it, if I can find it and buy it, uh, yeah,
I mean, I
I'm
don't know if
really
we're gonna have
excited.
time because it's gonna be a
No,
furious weekend.
we honestly we won't have time. I'll bring Love Letter. It's the only like that and Taco Cat,
I mean, I also have games like the one I bought from Tim Ferriss I haven't played yet, so we'll play that.
or at least look at it and
I
talk about it. Like
I,
whatever.
I did like a few episodes ago.
Which game was that again?
Coyote.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally want it. Yes. Yes, please.
All right. I have. I'm just gonna do a little bit of teaser. I have a for next week. The indie spotlight, I think, is going to be right up your alley.
You get Monster Train too.
No, it's just announced. It's not coming out until next year, but it is a camper van sim.
Stop.
It
Stop.
includes cozy routines like foraging for berries and mushrooms and
I don't know
portable
if I
living
do that, but
spaces and
oh yeah, I would totally do that. Yeah.
it seems right up your alley. So we'll go over that one next week.
I have to say, so to let everybody know, tomorrow I'm on the plane. I'm going to Florida. We're going to Disney World to hit up Epcot, to hit up Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, so Pirates of the Caribbean, Avatar, all that kind of stuff. Tron, I'm gonna ride
Ooh,
Tron. I'm so excited. And then hit up
jelly.
Epic Universe and to hit up Celestial Park and the new Harry Potter monsters, Mario, and Train Your Dragon. It's I'm really excited. Really, really excited. And I'm taking the Switch 2. So that will be a new experience for me and Katie too, to like, and her niece. Out of will this be a cool addition to a field trip? A field trip. I kind of feel it is the vacation for them. It's a field trip for me. Yeah, I'm really jazzed. I think that's another thing where the Nintendo is gonna shine in this aspect, and I'll still be able to do game chat with you, which is crazy cool, dude.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you. A little bit jealous. I get to go to work tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So,
I mean, I would too, normally. So I feel you hard.
all right, I got to go throw some ribs on the grill.
I'm making tacos.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, subscribe, double thumbs down, or whatever Jared said last time.
Click twice.
We love you. And we'll be back next week with Jared calling in from Orlando, Florida.
iPhone style.
All right.
Meow, meow, meow.
Peace out, nerds.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
End of transmission.